All righty, joining us now, my very dear friend, Education Secretary Linda McMahon. Linda, congratulations, Madam Secretary. I want to talk about closing down the Education Department in a moment, but I think the big news today, you are essentially taking out $400 million from Columbia University, various grants and so forth, because of their inability to rid themselves of anti-Semitism, as I understand it. But perhaps you can tell us more.
Well, that's correct, Larry. You know, we've seen over these past few years, well, let's take, especially since October 7th, what's happened on campus, and that should not happen. Parents should be able to send their students to schools and think that they're going to be safe while they're there. I talked to a student from Columbia at the State of the Union speech, and she said she was afraid to walk around campus. Now, this is not about free speech. This is about violence to students, attacking faculty. They need to call in the police. They need to get rid of this. But other than that, I think there's some systemic issues. We keep seeing this over and over again. And why is that? We have radical professors on campus. They're not really vetting the students who are coming in as much as they should be. What money is coming in from foreign influence, and all of that, I think, is playing into this. Now, I had the opportunity today to meet with Dr. Katrina Armstrong, who is the president of Columbia. We had a very good conversation. I do believe she's only been there 6 months. She's putting a lot of things in place that address these issues, but they haven't had time yet to have teeth, and the president said earlier this week he was not going to allow any more federal funding to go to schools that had anti-Semitism on its campus. What happened? The next day, Barnard blew up, and so he took measures to put teeth into it. So this money is across 4 different agencies, and it's so it's very strong to put teeth into it to hold universities accountable.
Are you looking at some of the other elite schools who are having the same problems, the same shortfalls? I always felt, Linda, anti-Semitism, DEI is bad enough, but to some extent, DEI, which is still around in these fancy schools, DEI was the progenitor of anti-Semitism. The one went with the other. And I don't know that any of these big schools that we all went to, unfortunately, nonetheless, have changed or reformed. The boards, the corporations have not changed. So much of the deans have not changed. I mean, it's like a lot more work is going to be necessary, will it not?
Well, I can tell you 2 things that the Department of Education has already done. We've gone through contracts and grants that had DEI programs as part of it and stripped that out or stopped those grants. And also, we've now launched investigations into 5 different universities, Harvard being one, Columbia was one, to make sure that they are getting rid of these anti-Semitic actions, programs, whatever it is they're doing. They have to stop it. This is dangerous. This is really about safety on campus. And we believe our universities should be open for freedom of expression, free speech, open dialogue and debate, but not this kind of violence that is dangerous.
Absolutely. Now, back to the Education Department. The president's mission here is to try to close it down. That's going to require some help from the Congress. But on the other hand, there are things you can do, I guess, right away. He was mentioning some of them. Actually, let's run some tape as he talks about student loans. This is President Trump on student loans. Hang on 1 second. Here it comes.
Mr. President, if the Education Department were eliminated, how would you see sort of what department, what agency would handle student loans and the other types of federal grants that the Education Department?
That would be brought into either Treasury or Small Business Administration or Commerce. And we've actually had that discussion today. I don't think the education should be handling the loans. That's not their business.
She's exactly right. Back in the first term, we talked about putting the student loan portfolio, it's about $1.7 trillion, into the Treasury Department. The Federal Financing Bank, which has workout experts to do this kind of thing. There's nobody in the Education Department, with the exception of yourself, who knows anything about an income statement or a balance sheet. You're probably the only one, and you can't do all the paperwork. So that might be something you can do, just get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm meeting with Scott Bessent on Monday. We've had a preliminary conversation already. I don't think it should be in the Department of Education for sure. It's not a bank. And the Treasury does have the ability and already services several agencies across government, and it could very well be the best place for it to be.
And can you, while you're waiting for Congress to back you up and make some structural changes to the whole education department, which has failed so miserably down through the years, it's just such a giveaway of money to the education unions.
Can I interrupt you 1 second and give you a stat?
Of course.
This department was set up in 1980. Since that time, we've spent $1 trillion on education to watch our performance scores continue to go down.
Right.
We are clearly not doing something right.
Right. It was all, yeah, I know, it was just big political giveaway. It's always been a big political giveaway, big slush fund for the unions. Final point. Will you use this thing to crusade for school choice? I know you have a long history of school choice and, of course, the success of school choice.
Absolutely. This afternoon, I have already visited one charter school, talked to the head of there, and then I just left Eva Moskowitz, who is very well known in the New York area for her, for Success Academies and the work that they've done. So I'm I've been a strong supporter of school choice for a long time, as is the president.
It is a pleasure to see you here. It is a pleasure to see you running the education department. Linda McMahon, we've worked together for so long.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.